Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. This is Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Titans Return Voyager class Alpha Trion with Autobot Sovereign. For the package, you can see you got that fairly standard Transformers text along the side with the Generations logo right up there. And then you got a nice open window that allows you to see the figures as well as his accessories. Then you got a really cool artistic image here of Sovereign kind of detaching from Alpha Trion. And then on the side, you got a little bit bigger image of that same artwork that we have here on the front. But that's kind of cut off, obviously, on the side. The actual collector card features that entire artwork. But we'll take a look at that here in a second. On the back of the package, you can see the side has that crossplay pattern where you can take the Titemaster Brawn, and if you want to, you can put it on Alpha Trion's body. Or you could take Sovereign, and you can put him on Chrome Dome, Astral Train, or even Soundwave if you wanted. And then it says, the Autobots unite with Titemaster partners to power up for battle. Autobot Sovereign carries the energy of Primus, the creator, giving Alpha Trion unknown and immeasurable power. That's actually kind of cool. And then you can see that he transforms in 17 different steps, and yes, he transforms into a lion. And there's actually a little bit of cool backstory behind that we'll get into here later on with the review. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it for him. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have Alpha Trion opened up and out of his packaging. And much like all the Titan Return figures with the exception of the Titan Masters, Alpha Trion comes with a collector card. You've got the Titans Return logo with his name there. Then on the back of it, you get tech specs for obviously Alpha Trion and Sovereign. And as you can see, it goes to infinity. As many of you know, Alpha Trion is considered one of the 13 often referred to as the original Primes. So it just makes sense that, you know, he's got like infinite power, which is kind of weird though, because they talked about how Sovereign increases Alpha Trion's power because Sovereign possesses the power of Primus. So I don't really understand how you can increase infinity with infinity, but there you go with this collector card. But really nice image here, and like I was talking about, you get a full scale kind of look at that art that we had on the package, which is really nice. Now, a little bit of history for you on this figure, and looking up some of the information on this and trying to find out why he has the modes that he does, it was actually kind of interesting. I didn't know a lot of this. But several years ago, during the Universe line of Transformer figures, Hasbro took a lot of Beast Machines figures and other older figures and repainted them into new characters. There was one such figure from that Beast Machines line, that being the Snarl figure, which I believe was a deluxe size. And plans were born to take that figure and repaint it into Alpha Trion. Now that Beast Machines Snarl had a bit of a lion sort of mode. Now, apparently prototypes of that figure were made and painted and shown off, but it ended up never being actually produced. Now, this was way back before BotCon existed. This was during the pre-BotCon days when it was ran by the 3H Enterprises and not FunPub. This was before FunPub actually bought the Transformer Club. But like I said, unfortunately, that figure never saw the light of day. Now, BotCon eventually did release kind of a lined, sort of themed Alpha Trion figure. It was fairly recently, and it was called Alpha Trizer. But even before that, back in 2007, BotCon released an exclusive repaint of Vector Prime that had an original Alpha Trion head on it. And for the longest time, that was our version of Alpha Trion. Now, it's those two BotCon figures, the original Alpha Trion as well as the Alpha Trizer, that, in talking to some people, they really do think that that's where Hasbro kind of got some of the inspiration to do this figure. I mean, a lot of people believe that this is going to be repainted to create a Leo convoy, and I absolutely can see that as well. But it's almost as if when Hasbro decided to go and say, what other figure can we use? It was those BotCon ones that popped up. And that's actually, in my opinion, really very cool, and actually makes me like this a little bit more. So as I said, this is his spaceship mode, which, you know, is a little bit lacking. There's no question about it. As you can see, you got a little cannon thing that plugs in here. This definitely looks like some kind of, you know, flight deck or something like that. Some people have talked about this being redone into a broadside, and that's definitely possible. He does come with a sword accessory, which looks really cool. I'll touch on that here in a little bit, just pegs here on the side. But really, that's about it. You got this little fin thing down here on the bottom. You can obviously obviously see his hands right there. So, well, it's not bad. I mean, it just is kind of meh for me. But like I was talking about, this is the original 2007 BotCon Alpha Trion. And you can see that there is some similarities, I guess. You know, you got the long front section here, you got the kind of shortened section right here, you got the little, I think his name was Betamax, actually. I don't remember exactly what his name was, and you can see that plugs in here in the front, much like this little cannon does. So overall, you know, not bad. And you can kind of see it gets a little bit chunky on the back side, kind of like the new one does. So, I mean, I can see it. You know, I'm not 100% convinced, but, you know, reading the story and getting kind of that information, you know, I could definitely see that. And like I said, it does make me appreciate the figure a little bit more. Now, as I was talking about, he does come with a couple accessories. The first really being this little sword here, which coming in a little bit closer so that, no, not going backwards, so you can take a little bit closer of a look. You can see that it's got this clear lucent plastic here, and it's all done in this orange, but you got some nice detail kind of molded in there. It honestly looks like the entire thing is in this kind of clear lucent sort of plastic, and then the handle and hilt are painted in this purple, because I can kind of see like the yellow kind of bleeding through there. But it definitely has, you know, a Star Saber sword kind of look to it. If that's what they were going for, I have no idea, but it definitely has a very cool kind of look, and I really do like that. And as I was showing, you can just plug that there on the side, which, again, if you had that plugged in there, kind of looks like those little wings that you know, BotCon Alpha Trion had. And then coming back here, you can also take this, and this plugs right here in the front section. Kind of looks like a little bit of a claw, but you can see it's got like these little, you know, tri sort of barrel looking there, you know, Alpha Trion. Yeah, see there. You got this little cockpit section, which does kind of resemble, you know, a lion head, which kind of is cool. And then you open, oh, that doesn't mean it's supposed to come up, but there you have Sovereign right here, which, looking at this, looks really very nice. I like the detail on here. It does have very stiff joints. There we go. Get that up. You do have just the standard ball joints here at the shoulders, giving a little bit of in and out motion, and then the neck here is also ball jointed. Definitely has a kind of Prime sort of look to it, coming in as close as I can. You can see that, yeah, he kind of looks like a little Optimus Prime. So it's definitely possible that we can be getting a Leo convoy out of this guy and having a little tiny, you know, dude like that. Kind of looks like it. And then transformation, you just rotate that. Does he have the pinned hips? Yes, he does. As you can see, he's got the pin going through the hip. So really nice tight joint right there. And then you got the bend here at the knee. So transforming him, you just put that along the side, fold him in half, and there you have Alpha Trion's actual robot head, which does look really cool. You got a nice beard there as well. I kind of wish that maybe the beard was painted white. The face itself is just painted silver, but I kind of would have liked it if that beard or that little mustache was painted white, just to kind of, you know, differentiate that. But overall, really very, very cool looking head sculpt. I like that a lot. And like I said, you can actually take this guy, you can set him right on the inside there. You can close that little cockpit little thingamajigger, or you can take this guy, and you can take this, you can plug it in right there, and then obviously you got the little peg. You can have him sit there if you want to, or you can attach this to any of the city bots like Fort Max, Power Master, Optimus Prime, Blaster, Soundwave, anything like that. I don't know why you would do it with Soundwave, but you could do that, and you can, you know, further enhance the weapons on those different cities. So you do got that. Now, setting that off to the side. Now, the transformation for this is actually fairly simple to do, but it is actually fairly involved and kind of fun. So first, you're going to take this, bring that down just like so. Separate these legs, and then rotate these pieces, rotate those down just like so. Then we're going to rotate this, get that around, and then bend them just like that. This section here then folds up, kind of keep that on an angle like so, because you're going to fold the foot up, and that's going to tab in right along the side right there. And if you have it all the way up towards the top, you kind of don't get easy access to that little tab bit right there. So bring that up, lock that into place. Then you take the little back legs, rotate these around, keep that in there, rotate that around like so. That will sort of soft tab into place right there. So just leave that there, do that on this side as well, bring that in, kind of straighten that out. Now this little piece here, this can get a little bit tricky. You want to separate this whole thing, and then you're going to rotate this around like that. We're just going to be fiddling with a lot of this stuff. Bring these legs out Get that out of the way. Bring that out like so. I pop that out. If you hit that button, which is just this little piece right here, just take that and push that all the way back in. You got to push it pretty deep in. Then just take this and bring that up like so. We're going to collapse all this here in a second. So then bring this back up, and now you got these little prongs that are right here that are going to tab into that section. So just bring that up, give that a nice little push, and that will lock into place. Come around here to the bottom section. You're going to take the sword, and you can see a slot right here that these little pieces are going to attach to. So you just bring that in, and it kind of, you know, fits along that sort of a slant. So just push that in like that. It's a little bit tricky to do because when you're pushing it in, it may detach this. So just put that back there, keep it in place, nice and secure. Kind of make sure you push all that, locking that into place like that. Then you're just going to bring these halves around, lock that in, squeeze the face together like so, squeeze the little lower jaw together, position these. Now, one thing I'll talk about is that these are a little bit floppy, which is kind of unfortunate, but they stay up there pretty decently. So position all that. Then I like taking, now there's no instructions on what to do with this, but there's actually, you know, that little peg section right down there. I actually like taking it, and I mean, the way that is, you got that. I actually like taking this and pegging it underneath right there, kind of just sitting it along the side. Kind of fills in the little belly area a little bit, but there you have Alpha Trion in his beast mode. And again, just fiddling with the legs, kind of getting those down on the ground level. And then you can take, obviously, your little sovereign figure. You can open this section up still. You can fold his legs, and you can put them right in there. Close in, you can do that. Again, you got another little kind of lion looking head, but here you have the Alpha Trion in his lion mode. Now again, like I was talking about, the original plans was, you know, to have the Beast Machine Snarl figure, which really was a little lion looking creature that very similarly looks like this. Now, yeah, obviously, this could definitely be a Leo convoy as well, and I think that is what is ultimately going to happen. But I do think that when they were going through, like, well, who else could we make them? In finding the Bacon stuff, I think they were like, boom, there it is. It works perfectly, and it's a nice kind of homage and throw to the actual Transformer Collector Club. Now, that's all speculation on my part. I have talked to some people, you know, and, you know, that Bacon Snarl figure was planned and all that stuff. Is that what Hasbro intended for this? I don't know. I mean, like I said, it is just speculation, but it's fun to kind of speculate sometimes, and I definitely think that, and I'm just fiddling with these legs because my surface here is rounded, so it kind of makes them want to wobble. But while I am just completely guessing, it seems to make sense in my mind. And actually, it actually makes me like this guy a little bit more. Now, there are some problems that I do have with it. I do think that the tail kind of is strange looking, just how it's a sword just shooting straight out like that. It's kind of strange. And then the other part that I really don't like is you got a really nice paint detail kind of going through his mane and everything. You got some nice maroon kind of paint on the rest of the body and the purple and everything. Great molded detail throughout the entire piece. Very, you know, techy, despite the fact that it has an organic sort of beast mode. But I am disappointed in the fact that the lower jaw, which actually forms his hands in robot mode, are just this fairly dull gray plastic, like this or that or something, or even to a lesser or more degree, I guess, you know, his little thighs. I wish that that was painted like the rest of them, or maybe even painted silver or something, just to kind of match with the upper section of his mouth. That's just a little bit unfortunate because it stands out and doesn't necessarily look all that good. You got some nice silver paint right here on his, you know, top fang and everything, which looks great. He's got a unicorn horn, which that's strange, but you know, whatever. But I mean, in terms of how this guy looks, I'd probably say that those are the only real complaints. The tail is kind of strange, and then this lower jaw is a little bit just lacking in terms of the paint. I really don't see why they couldn't have painted, you know, the entire mouth this nice deep red color. It looks really very cool. For his articulation in the beast mode here, you can see he's got a little hinge right here at the, I don't know what that would be, his elbow, and then you got the foot, which does rotate, but again, fairly loose on that. Is that just a friction joint? Yeah, that's just a friction joint, so I can probably tighten that up myself, but it does look like it's supposed to be a ratchet. You can kind of see like little grooves right there, and there's nothing on there to kind of ratchet it, really, so it is kind of flimsy right there, which kind of stinks. This one is definitely a flimsy one as well here in the back. But like I said, when you have it pushed all the way forward, they're not falling down. It's just when you're moving it around, and in the actual robot mode, it does get a little bit loose when you're trying to position it. He also does rotate right here, which is at the elbow as well, and then he also does at the little lion wrist, I guess, also rotate. So nice articulation there. These back pieces, because they'll be the legs in his robot mode, they're on ball joints up here, so you can rotate that around. They also swivel here at the upper part of the thigh. These back feet also kind of can pivot around. Like I said, that kind of locks into place, but you can detach it. And then these ankles also do pivot, but these are really very sturdy. So, you know, that's really about it in terms of the articulation on him. His jaw doesn't move or anything. It does rotate in robot mode, just, you know, as part of the wrist and everything, but that's really it for his articulation. Now, I'm not really even seeing, there's no Autobot logo here in beast mode either. I'm trying to remember if he had one in a spaceship mode, and I don't think that he did. Oh, you know what I'm noticing here also? Oh, no, okay, I thought maybe you can tab those in. You got that little peg section on the sword. I thought that little screw hole pegged in. I mean, it's kind of close to it, but it doesn't actually go all the way there, and there's not one on the other side, so I thought you were supposed to lock those into place, but it doesn't really matter. But there you have his little beastly unicorn lion mode. Now, to transform him into his robot mode, first we're going to take out Sovereign and set him off to the side and close that up. Then we're going to move over to this bit here, take out his little thing, and then we're going to take out his sword. Just kind of makes things a little bit easier. Go ahead and detach this whole section and just kind of, you know, fold that out like that. Then rotate the legs down at the actual knees. Take this back section here for the little animal mode and fold that up just along the back side right there. Then straighten all this out. Then you can rotate these down like that, just like so. Then come around here to this top section, and we're going to fold this, well, fold these little bits up, and then just tuck that up there. Fold this up, tuck that up along that section, and then you can accordion this over and down like that, and then you push this whole section down, kind of locks that into place just via some friction, so it just kind of sits right there. Oops, that went that way, doy. So you're rotating them around just like so. I'm thinking that I messed up, which is possible, but you know, I didn't. So there you go. Take this whole section, then split this down the middle, and then hinge this out, and then accordion this in like so. So do that again on this side, hinge it all the way out, and then fold it in, peg that in just like that. Then detach this, rotate that around, spin his little fist around, and just position that down there. Again, take this, loosen that, rotate that down, spin that around, and then spin around his actual wrist. So, like I was saying, yeah, I don't see why they couldn't have painted that. I guess maybe it breaks up the overall paint by not having to be all the same color, but I just think it would look a lot better. So then position that, kind of angle these, take this whole section. This is going to accordion back and lock down right there. Again, make sure that waist is pushed in there very securely, because that has a tendency to kind of loosen up. Then just set them there. Go ahead, take Sovereign, rotate him around. You got his little head thing right now. Make sure that's straight. And then you plug that right in there. Boom! There you have Alpha Trion now in his robot mode. And yeah, this totally looks like this could end up being a Leo Kaiser. There's no question about it. Do I really care about Leo Kaiser? No. Or, I'm sorry, Leo Convoy, Lio Kaiser, yeah, whatever. I really don't. But I do think that this guy looks pretty decent. Now, for one final kind of gimmick, you got the little ruby here in the center. When you push this, the little prongs on the side of his head pop up. So you got that. So, boom, there it is. And that kind of looks like Megatron to me when you do that. So, I don't know. I don't particularly like that look. I think it's kind of weird looking, and I'm dropping them. So I would prefer just to leave that all the way down, just like so. I think it looks perfectly fine. Now, again, the instructions don't show this, but I guess, you know, to kind of complete some of it, on his little gun weapon here, obviously you can have him hold it. That's a personal, you know, preference for you. But you got these two little slots right here on the back of it, and then you've got little tabs that stick out here. So you can take this and put that there and then there, push that in, and it frictions in. Now, like I said, I don't necessarily know if that's where it's supposed to go because the instructions are very vague on that, but I think it makes sense. Now this, you can kind of fiddle with this. You have it like that or have it like that. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? What's your personal preference? Yeah, you can do whatever. I mean, that kind of makes him look like he doesn't really have front feet and more heels. So, I don't know. I guess I'll just leave it like that, I suppose. It's your toy. Do what you want with it. And then you got the sword. You put that in there. And, I mean, I really do think that this guy does look really very cool. Even if it doesn't necessarily, I guess, feel like Alpha Trion to me. He does have a neat look to him, don't get me wrong. And that sword really is great with it. I don't know. It just doesn't say Alpha Trion to me. I mean, the head sculpt is amazing. The colors are really very good. But honestly, for me, this is Alpha Trion. This is the Shogokin version. I don't actually remember. It's a super articulated, made out of die cast, and it fits perfectly in my classics display. People complain because he doesn't transform. Well, Alpha Trion never transformed anyhow, so that's, you know, wrong already with this guy. But this is a perfect representation of Alpha Trion, if you ask me. But, you know, you do get some kind of elements going on here. I mean, the color obviously is fairly decent. Obviously, the purplish is a lot darker here, but I mean, you got the little pokey bits right there. You kind of got that there. You know, he's got the little crest thing for his head, very similar to what's on, you know, the original kind of looking one. So, I mean, I dig it. I think it looks pretty good. It doesn't have this kind of look, but it's not bad. But yeah, looking around on here, yeah, he doesn't have an Autobot logo anywhere. That's kind of weird, to be totally honest. I don't know. I mean, as being one of the original 13 Primes, you would think he would have an Autobot logo. So, yeah, that's a little bit screwy, I guess. But now, for one other comparison, again, here he is. And here he is next to that Bakan one that we got a while ago. And then again, like I was saying, you know, they did a good job of, you know, putting the silver paint and then the white for the little mustache and beard. I do kind of wish that they did that on, you know, this new version, but I don't know. Like, I mean, and, you know, some people have these up like that. I actually like keeping them down as to differentiate him from Vector. But like I said, for the longest time, this is what people used for their Alpha Trion in their collection. And even to this date, I still actually do. I have him displayed with my Vector Prime, my Unicron, Primus, all those, you know, as kind of like the original 13 kind of display in my collection. And then this guy resides in my classic shelf, so, you know, while I do really appreciate how this figure turned out, I don't know where he's going to fit in my collection. I'm just honest. I'm scratching my head with it. I really, really am. Now for his articulation, I'm going to get this out of the way. The head, you know, it has that little Titan Master sort of thing, so you get a little bit of a swivel side to side, it rotates and everything kind of looks up and down, all that kind of stuff. The shoulders here just rotate, and then they have little hinges on the inside so you can rotate it out, but that's about as far as it's going to go out because of the little lion head right there, so it is a little bit more limited. He rotates right at the elbow, and then he bends at the elbow as well, and I just hit that button again. I'm just going to leave that out there. Oh, one thing that I should talk about is he does have something similar to Astral Terrain and Sentinel Prime, in the fact that when this is up, you cannot rotate that head, but they got that little, you know, swivel point right in there, so you can rotate them actually still when you have these bits out, which is really very cool. I do like that. And then obviously, if you have that tucked all the way down, you can get it rotating all the way. So that's a nice little additional piece that I do really appreciate. The wrists here are actually on ball joints. You can see it kind of pivot a little. I think that's mostly to fit in for the lower jaw in lion mode, so you do get a little bit of flex in it, but you mostly just get the little rotation kind of thing going in there. You don't get too much, you know, forward and back or anything. But that is pretty nice still. He doesn't rotate at the waist, so it is kind of locked in that position. This little piece here does kind of flex forward and back, kind of gets out of the way a little bit, but not a heck of a lot when you're moving it forward and in and out and stuff. So you do have that range of motion, but it does get, if you're just going to sit and kind of go straight with it, it will bump into this, which is a little unfortunate, but I also like how you got like this little, you know, semblance of the little sword thing right here on that little piece. That's actually kind of cool. He does rotate at the upper part of the thigh. He bends here at the knee, and then the ankles do move forward and back. You got that double little thingy going on there. It doesn't tilt in and out or anything, but his little boat feet do get a pretty good stance, you know, regardless. So you can get some cool poses with the guy. The detail on here, again, like I said, really is phenomenal. I mean, when you look at moving these out of the way, like the little pieces right here, some great molded in detail throughout the entire thing. I'm really very impressed. The only thing that kind of does ruin it would be just this drab gray plastic that isn't really in abundance. I mean, it's the hands, the joints, the thighs, and that. But I think, you know, some silver paint would really kind of work good for that, or just maybe a different color or something like that. But molded in detail on this guy really is absolutely gorgeous. I'm really very impressed with how this turned out. It's a good figure, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I think everything on it looks really good. Just in terms of Alpha Trion, I really don't know where to put them in my collection. Now, like I said, I really do believe we'll probably get a Leo Convoy with him. Will that be a better figure? It seems to make sense a little bit more than Alpha Trion, but for me, Leo Convoy, I don't care too much about as a character, so I'm going to be a little iffy on that as well. I care more about Alpha Trion, but like I said, I'm just torn on this figure. I really am. It kind of gets a little bit blocky right there, like just completely square, but nah, I don't know, that's not too bad. But I do like him. I think that he's a good addition to anybody's collection if you can figure out where to put him. That's really what it boils down to. Now to transform him back, we're going to go to his lion mode. Well, I hope it's his lion mode. I mean, I guess it looks like a lion. First, you're going to rotate these arms and collapse them up just kind of like that. And then when you get to that point, you can rotate the hands and then just bring that in. There is actually a little tab on this outer section of the forearm. That tab's on the inside here of the little mane. So just bring that up, kind of push that in there. Do that again on this side. Just rotate that around and then rotate his little fist. Bring that up. Tab that into place just like so. I guess we can go ahead and take Sovereign off and set him off to the side. Come around here to the back, you should probably remove that as well. Then take this whole section, detach this, and you're going to just swivel that out just like so. And then take this, get this, lift it up and out of the way. Come on, yeah, there we go. Angle that back just like that. And then you collapse these in together. And then you put the whole lion head together just like that. Just squeeze everything. The hands actually tab together as well. Just give that a nice little push, lining everything up very nicely. Then go ahead, take this waist section, detach this, and kind of pull this away. And then you can rotate these little front arms out just like that. Kind of keep that down, and then you bring this whole section up, just folding that. And then again, you're going to take these little tabs that are here and lock them into the little top section of the little loincloth thing. So put that in there, give that a nice little squeeze, locking that into place. Then we're going to come to the feet, going to bend that down just like that. You can take this whole section, rotate this around, tab that in, give that a nice little push, just like so. Do that on this side as well. Rotate that, but again, kind of leave it out like that so that you can rotate this around and you have the clearance with the thigh and then the little toe piece right there. Rotate his back legs around, soft tab those into place. Do that on that side as well. And you can come around here. You got the little tail section. You just bring this in and slot that up and into the bottom section of his tail. And then you have him in his little lion mode. Again, you can take this and you can plug that down there. I'm not going to because I'm going to have to take that off anyhow, but real simple on the transformation. Now going to his ship mode, we're going to detach this, and see when you lift that all the way up, it detaches this. So that's why I was saying kind of be careful when you're doing it. So keep that lined up. Actually, no, you need to detach that. So pull that apart like so. Bring this out, kind of get that out of the way. Rotate these back right there. Do that right there as well. Then rotate them here at the thigh. Rotate this section out like so. Rotate that section out like so. And then rotate that around. This is the bottom section. You're just going to squeeze that together. Come around to the top. You can see what's going on here. And then you can collapse this right there and squeeze that whole section down. Then take these little thigh bits, rotate these up just like that. Yeah, there you go. That's not a double hinge, so make sure that you get that fully extended. Do I have these clasped? Yeah, that's good. Okay, so now you have that. You're going to take these legs, you're going to rotate these back and in just like that, kind of tucking those down there, and then you split his lion head and rotate this out. Now, leaving it on that hinge, you got a little tab on the outside of his mane that's painted silver, and then you're going to post it in right inside there. Over time, I would be concerned about maybe rubbing the silver off of that, but it doesn't feel like it's too stiff of a tab, so I don't think it's going to be too bad over time. Keep that there, and then you can keep that collapsed there. Bring that in. Tab that into place along the bottom side. Where you at? There you go. Locking that into place just like so. And then you can take this section, bring this. Actually, you don't tab that. I'm sorry. Just keep that right there. And then you hinge this up like that. And then, actually, there we go. And then bring that around. Sorry. Tab that in just like there, and then you bring that around, locking that down. I mean, it doesn't really lock in, it just kind of sits there. I kept saying locks in, but it just really just kind of sits there. And then you take this little bit, you put that right there for the front. You can take this, like I was saying, you can put that there, or you can put it on the opposite side. You have two of them. I wish it came with two swords, though. That would be cool, because then you could have it kind of on both sides, like that, you know, Botcon jet that we had, or the Alpha Trion that was from the Vector Prime mold that transformed into a jet. That's kind of, you know, cool. I mean, and keep that up there, you know, if you had that on both sides, that would look kind of neat, I think. And then you can take this guy, and you can position this back and around. Now, some pictures I actually showed with this piece kind of left up. I guess that's personal preference, but it kind of does look like, you know, one of those towers, you know, that like a battleship would have or something like that. I guess, you know, if you wanted to do it. And then I'm noticing that there are a whole bunch of these little posts on here. So, again, you know, cross-play value, if you wanted to, you can take that guy, you can put him there. You can take that guy, can put him there. So you can, you know, whee, look at me, I'm flying on a spaceship just standing here. So I mean, that's, you know, what they're going for, right? You know, that cross play pattern. But there you have Alpha Trion back in his ship mode. Oh, you know, duh. There, rotate that down. Now you have him in ship mode. Overall, I really do like the figure, don't get me wrong. It's just, I have a real hard time connecting to him as Alpha Trion. That being said, I also don't necessarily know exactly what this is going to be repurposed as. We're all just guessing that it's going to be a Leo convoy. We don't know. I mean, I can definitely see it happening, but like I said, I also don't have any real attachment to that character. So, looking at this toy as Alpha Trion, is kind of weird. And then looking at Leo Convoy, when I don't like the character all that much, is kind of weird. So I'm kind of left in the middle on this guy. I do think that the figure, in terms of engineering and everything, is actually really good. The color, the paint, everything on it is really very nice, with the exception of mostly the hands, you know, and then like, you know, the gray bits on the rest of them. As a triple changer, there's always usually one mode that's fairly weak, and I would probably say it's this ship mode, but I think it works. You know, if you stretch your imagination a little bit, I think it's okay. The Lion mode, though, I think is probably what I like the most on this. It just is different, it looks cool, and I just enjoy it. The Robot mode, while I think it comes across very nicely, just as Alpha Trion, it doesn't work. What I will say, though, is if Hasbro is actually homaging the various Botcon figures in this, I think they did a great job. To me, like I said, looking at the Spaceship mode here, looking at the Beast mode, it just feels like it homages those other Botcon Alpha Trion figures. Ultimately, for me, this isn't a figure that I have that much kind of interest in. I still really like what they did with the toy, so the toy works. So hopefully, if you guys like this, you know, and that, you know, obscure nature of the figure works for you, I hope you actually enjoy the figure. Like I keep saying that I do like the toy. I do know that a character like Leo Convoy does have a really big following, so if there is a planned repaint of this figure into that character, I think that that will be a little bit more successful across the board. And if that's the case, this is a good toy to use it for. Now, all that being said, if Alpha Trion is a figure you're interested in, he is slowly starting to hit various retail locations right now. So good luck and happy hunting. Or as always, there's Big Bad Toy Store. And all you have to do for that is click on the link down in the video description. You'll go to BBTS where you can check out availability on this guy, as well as the rest of the new Transformers Titans Return figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Don't forget that if you like this video, to please like and share it. Also, be sure to subscribe in case you haven't already subscribed. That way you never miss a future review of mine. And as always, until next time, I'll talk to you later.